Hey y'all, I'm Kelly. Today we're going to work on the annual goals in my 2025 Makselife weekly planner. This is a digital planner from Makselife they've released this year. I've been using Makselife for probably about 3 years now, and I really like it. It's something that really works for me. But something that's different this year is that I've chosen to go with the digital route. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm finding that I'm having a hard time taking my planners between work and home, and making sure that I'm not leaving it somewhere and forgetting to enter things into it or not having it when I need it. So using a digital format should be able to basically let me transport this more easily, but also basically I can keep it in my pocket because I can pull Goodnotes up on my phone at any time if I happen to be out at an appointment or something and just need to check my schedule. So I've added this cover from the Makselife cover collection, and I'm going to jump right in today by scrolling down to where the annual goals end. In this idea garden page. Now, I don't plan to use this idea garden page as it is, but I have purchased the quarterly goals toolkit from Makselife, and I've added those pages as elements. And so I'm going to add the quarterly goals sheet as an element and just cover this page with it. You just kind of have to play with this until you get it just kind of how you want it. It needs to be just a smidge bigger. And there we go. So, whoops. Still getting used to Goodnotes. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit just so it's easier for me to work with. Now, I have come up with a generalized list of annual goals for myself, but what I'm really wanting to do this year is work in more of a quarterly format. I think having annual goals can just be overwhelming to me sometimes, and I run out of energy, or I just think I have more time than I do to get things done. So this year I'm going to try operating in a quarterly goals format just to try to focus in a little bit more. I'm going to start with my main priority this quarter, and that is the health and wellness category. This is my biggest goal for the quarter, and it's the one that's going to get my most time and attention, because if I can get myself to a little bit better place in terms of my mental and physical health, then I think the following quarters will go a little bit more smoothly. I'll just have a little bit more energy and just be a little bit able to complete the things that I want to complete. So this is my stretch goal for this quarter, and it is kind of an ambitious one, and trying to come up with a way to measure that is that I want to reduce 2 pant sizes. Now, is that realistic for 3 months? I don't know. That's what I'm going to aim for, though, and we'll just kind of adjust as we go. So in order to kind of focus on that, some of the more day-to-day things, because reduce 2 pant sizes, that's not an action, right? So my action here is going to be to follow my eating plan 90% of the time. I think that's fairly reasonable. It's challenging, but doable. And then I have a second action of following my exercise plan, also 90% of the time. And those are kind of my 2 physical health things. My mental health, so I have struggled with anxiety and depression in the past quite a bit. I'm really focusing in on that this quarter. And so one of the things I want to do is reduce my score on the PHQ, oops, and generalized anxiety. So personal health questionnaire and generalized anxiety assessments by 10% or so. So I need to take a baseline of that. I don't know what it is at this particular moment. So those are my 3 quarterly goals that I'm going to be working on for health and wellness. So that is going to take up the bulk of my time. So everything else that I'm doing here needs to fit around that. Now, in order of priority, my second biggest goal for this quarter, oops, a little something on there, is going to be working in my physical environment. And so I have a focus for this one too, and that's to establish routines. Right now, I just try to do things as I think they need to be done, but I really want to get into a place where I've got a schedule and I know what's happening and when it's going to happen. And it's going to really be important for me to do that in order to fit in some of these things that I have planned for this quarter. I need to have a schedule. So specifically, I need to complete kitchen renovations. And this is not on our home. Renovations. It is in, my husband and I have an office and it has a kitchen in it, and the kitchen needs an update. So we're working on that this quarter. Of course, as I said, I want to establish housekeeping routines, which means I need to figure out what kind of routine that needs to be. How do I want to go about that? And then the third thing is more of a maintenance, but I'm going to add it because it is, whoops, that's not how you spell that. Maintenance. It is part of the Makselife system. Like, everything should not be a stretch goal. Maintain my car care routine. So I already have a great routine in place for taking care of our cars, as far as getting them washed and detailed and making sure the basic maintenance is done. That is already something that's working very well. And I'm just going to write it down because I don't want to lose sight of that while I'm working on everything else. And so that becomes a maintenance goal here. So moving back to the top, these are my top 2 must-dos this quarter. So we're going to come back in and fill in what I would like to do and see where we can get. So for personal, I have a goal of completing a novel up through the 2nd draft, which I would consider ready to send to an editor. I would like to do that by the end of the year, but it is not my main focus for this quarter. So my focus for this quarter is to create time in my schedule for writing. Not necessarily focus on the writing, but focus on the habit of where am I going to do the writing, when, and how is that going to get done. And then during that time, I'm just going to work on the plot. So no pressure here. I'm going to write this note to myself because it's something I do put a lot of pressure on myself about, and I want to just be relaxed. This quarter is only about making the habit. So I'm under my fun and recreation section here. So my annual kind of goal is I love to go to concerts. I would like to go to maybe 4 this year at least. I do live a little far away from any larger city centers or anything, so going to something like this is an event. It takes time off work, it takes hotels, it can be a little expensive, and so 4 is a decent number for me to try to hit, I think. And so for this quarter, I already have tickets to a concert this quarter. I'm going to go see Disturbed in St. Louis. So I need to book our hotel for that concert. I already have the tickets. Actually, I have tickets to 2 concerts this year, and I'm just going to go ahead and book the hotel for both at the same time while I'm doing that. And then here again is another thing where I'm just trying to make time. And I'm making a note of this because I'm planning to do a what do you call it, in my ideal weekly schedule. And I want to make sure that when I do that, I'm booking in time for writing, I'm booking in time for leisure, so it doesn't just get swallowed up by everything else. For work and learning, my big goal for this quarter is to launch this YouTube channel. So hopefully you are watching this video, and that means that I have launched it. Whoops, that's not what I want to say. Launch YouTube channel. Now, what does that mean? One video would be launching it. So hopefully I'll do more than that, but like, as I said, it is not my first or even my second priority. So we'll see how far we get with that. And then my second goal is to learn the responsibilities of my new job that I am starting on January 6th. So I have a new job at the same company I already work at, in the same department, just with a different team and a completely different role. And so I will have a lot to learn there and some training to get through, I'm sure. So I'm just going to mark that as a goal. It's going to take some of my time and energy. So under family and relationships section, I have a few things that I want to work on. These are more maintenance and maybe a little progress, and that some of them I'm not already doing as frequently as I would like. So those things are that I want to see my family at least monthly. So that's my parents, my brother and his family. They live a couple of hours away from me, so it's not like something I can do every week, really, but we should be able to do it monthly. I do have another brother that lives out of state that he lives quite far from me, so it's not quite as easy to see him. And I want to make sure that I'm calling my parents more regularly. So I'm going to say a minimum of weekly. These are minimums, guys. Let's see. I want to make sure that I'm sending birthday cards on time, especially important for those that I can't see very often. I want to have a date night, at least monthly. This is probably going to happen more than monthly, but just making sure we get that on the schedule. And oops. And then last, I want to make sure that I'm taking more photos this year. So I'm going to say make time each week to take a photo. Even if it's only one, take a photo so we have something to document, just to document it with. Okay, so we have a couple more areas. I'm going to go to financial next. My financial goal for the year, and this is probably should be considered a stretch goal. I think it's kind of pie in the sky, but really I just want to challenge myself to see if I can do it, and if I can't do it, no harm, no foul. But I want to try to live off of 50% of our income this year, which would mean a drastic cut in some expenses. Just a challenge, just to see if we can do it, just to pad our savings a little bit. We've had to dip into this past year for a couple of large purchases, and I would like to build that back up. But on the quarterly view of these things, it is January, so I need to set up the 2025 budget. I typically use YNAB for this, and I'm thinking about going pen and paper or digital pen and paper this year, just to cut out the subscription fee from YNAB itself. So we'll see. I haven't decided. My second goal here is preparation for a goal for 2026. I'm planning a trip to visit the UK in 2026. And so for this quarter, I'm going to set a little bit of a savings goal to save $1,000 for that trip. Every time I type 4, it thinks I typed fur. Okay, save $1,000 towards that, because I just want to cash flow that trip. I do not want to have to charge anything to a credit card more than temporarily while I'm actually there. Okay, so now we're going to come back up to the spiritual and personal growth, and so we'll talk about this one for a sec. I don't ever find myself in the last 3 years really using this category. I have made goals, I have tried. It's not a thing for me. It's just not a thing. So I have decided to take this category and use it for something that I do need it for. So what I'm going to do is I've already set up the Makselife colors in my pens and highlighters and things. I'm going to take my pen here and I'm just going to essentially white out, but with that teal color, that header. Now, I could kind of deal with that too, but I'm not worried about that. And I'm going to come back in. Let's see. I'm going to use the marker font and I want it to be white. And let's see, probably maybe 22. Let's try that. Here, a little bit too large. Let me come down just a tad. I think that font's a little too thick too. The Helvetica looks a little bit better, and okay, it's not perfect, but it's close enough. I know what I mean. So I have 6 dogs. My husband and I have 6 dogs. What have I done? Okay. We have 6 pups, and they range in age from probably about a year old is the youngest, and our oldest is 12, maybe 13 by now. I have to remember and do some math there. He's an old guy though. But with 6 dogs, things are getting a little bit chaotic. So I want to put some more focused intention on just the routines with the dogs around the house and a little training, some training refreshers for them. So my goals in this area for this quarter are to, I'm going to read a training book. I've read it before, but I want to reread it and just brush up on it. And I want to start, teach the place command to them. It's not something they use right now. They have other commands that are similar, but I want to teach them an actual place command. And the idea being that I should be able to give that command and have all of them go to their place, which is super handy when someone knocks on the door or just anything at all, really. The older ones can do this. The younger ones, I have not spent the time with them. So we're going to work on that. And then we're going to establish a grooming routine for them. Right now, much like household chores, it's very, I've got some chaos over here. It's very much just like when it needs to get done, it gets done. But I want to put that on a routine so that they're on a schedule about when they get baths, when they get their nails trimmed, all that good stuff. and it makes it a little less chaotic and easier on them to know what to expect. So those are my goals for the quarter. All right, thank you so much. Join me in the next video, and we'll chunk these down into monthly goals for the monthly January plan with me. Bye.